Life after the buzzer, NBA stars' surprising retirement acts. Ever wondered what happens when the roar of the crowd fades and the spotlight dims for NBA superstars? From unexpected career changes to heartwarming comebacks, the stories of NBA legends after retirement will shock you, inspire you, and maybe even make you tear up a little. Stick around to find out what really happens when the final buzzer sounds on an NBA career. What's up, hoop fans? We will be diving into a topic that's as fascinating as a game-winning buzzer beater. What happens to NBA players after they hang up their jerseys for good? Now, before we start dribbling through these post-career tales, let's lay down some facts. Did you know that the average NBA career lasts just 4.5 years? That's right. In the time it takes most of us to get a college degree, many NBA players have already come and gone from the league. But for the lucky few who stick around longer, retirement can come as a shock to the system. First off, let's talk about the financial side of things. You might think that all NBA players retire with enough cash to make Scrooge McDuck jealous, right? Well, not exactly. While it's true that NBA salaries are pretty hefty these days, with the average player making around $7.5 million per year, not everyone leaves the league set for life. In fact, a shocking statistic shows that about 60% of NBA players go broke within 5 years of retiring. Yep, you heard that right. More than half of these guys who once lived like kings find themselves struggling financially just a few years after leaving the court. But why? Well, there are a few reasons. Some players get caught up in the lavish lifestyle and forget to save for the future. Others make bad investments or trust the wrong people with their money. And let's not forget about those who have to support extended families or deal with expensive divorces. But it's not all doom and gloom. Many players have found clever ways to keep the cash flowing after retirement. Take Magic Johnson, for example. This Lakers legend turned his fame and business savvy into a multi-million-dollar empire. From movie theaters to Starbucks franchises, Magic's got his hands in more pies than a bakery on Thanksgiving. Or how about Shaquille O'Neal? The big man didn't just dominate on the court, he's been crushing it in the business world too. Shaq's got a portfolio that includes everything from tech startups to fast food franchises. He's even got his own line of sneakers. Talk about a slam dunk in the business world. But money isn't everything, right? Many former NBA players find themselves searching for a new purpose after retirement. After all, when you've spent your whole life working towards one goal, it can be tough to figure out what to do next. Some players choose to stay close to the game they love. You've probably seen guys like Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith breaking down plays on TV. These former players turned analysts get to stay connected to the NBA while also entertaining fans with their insights. Others decide to give back to the community. Take Dikembe Mutombo, for instance. This finger-wagging shot blocker has spent his retirement building hospitals and improving healthcare in his home country of Congo. Now that's what I call a real-life superhero. And let's not forget about the coaches. Many former players find that they have a knack for teaching the game they once played. Guys like Steve Kerr and Doc Rivers have made the transition from player to coach look easier than a layup. They're proving that sometimes the best way to stay in the game is to guide the next generation of stars. But not all post-NBA careers are so closely tied to basketball. Some players take their competitive spirit and channel it into completely different fields. Did you know that former NBA player Adrian Dantley became a crossing guard after retirement? Talk about a career 180. Or how about John Salley, who went from winning championships with the Bulls to becoming a vegan activist and entrepreneur? Now I know what you're thinking. But what about the physical toll of playing in the NBA? Don't these guys just spend their retirement icing their knees and popping ibuprofen? Well, you're not entirely wrong. The wear and tear of professional basketball can definitely catch up with players in their later years. Many former players deal with chronic pain or mobility issues. Some, like Bill Walton, have had to undergo multiple surgeries just to maintain a decent quality of life. It's a stark reminder that while the glory of the NBA is amazing, it often comes at a price. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some players have found that retirement actually gives them a chance to get healthier. Without the constant stress of games and practices, they can focus on taking care of their bodies in a more holistic way. Take Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, for example. The NBA's all-time leading scorer has become a yoga enthusiast in his retirement years. Who would have thought we'd see the master of the skyhook doing downward dog? Now let's talk about something that doesn't get discussed enough: mental health. The transition from being a celebrated athlete to a regular civilian can be tough on the psyche. Some players struggle with depression or anxiety after leaving the league. The loss of identity, the sudden drop in adrenaline, and the pressure to figure out what's next can all take a toll. But the good news is that the NBA and its Players Association have been working hard to provide resources for retired players. There are now programs in place to help with everything from financial planning to mental health support. It's a step in the right direction for making sure these athletes are taken care of long after their playing days are over. Of course, we can't talk about life after the NBA without mentioning the GOAT himself, Michael Jordan. MJ's post-playing career has been almost as legendary as his time on the court. From team ownership to his iconic shoe brand, Jordan has shown that retirement doesn't mean you stop competing, you just find new arenas to dominate in. But for every Michael Jordan success story, there are plenty of players who struggle to find their footing after retirement. It's not always easy to transition from being in the spotlight to living a more normal life. Some players miss the camaraderie of the locker room, the thrill of game day, or even just the structure that comes with being a professional athlete. That's why many former players have found ways to stay connected to the game, even if they're not playing professionally anymore. Some run basketball camps for kids, passing on their knowledge to the next generation. Others get involved in charity work, using their fame to bring attention to important causes. And let's not forget about the growing world of esports. Some former NBA players have found a new competitive outlet in video games. I mean, who wouldn't want to see Shaq take on all comers in NBA 2K? Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's one more aspect of post-NBA life that I think is worth mentioning: family. For many players, retirement means finally getting to spend quality time with their loved ones. After years of road trips and late-night games, these guys get to be present for birthdays, school events, and all those little moments that make life special. Take Tim Duncan, for example. The San Antonio Spurs legend has been spotted coaching his kids' basketball teams and generally just enjoying life as a dad. It's a reminder that while the glory of the NBA is amazing, there's something to be said for the simple joys of everyday life too. So what's the takeaway from all this? Well, life after the NBA is as varied and unpredictable as a game of basketball itself. Some players go on to even greater success, while others struggle to find their way. Some stay close to the game, while others venture into completely new territories. So the next time you're watching an NBA game, take a moment to think about what might be in store for these players after their playing days are over. Will they become the next great coach, a successful entrepreneur? Or maybe they'll surprise us all and become a crossing guard like Adrian Dantley. And that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope this peek into the lives of NBA players after retirement has given you some food for thought. Before you go, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode of NBA content.